I'm here at the Australian Federal Police's Sydney headquarters. On the 25th of August 2021, the Australian Federal Parliament allowed and passed the Identify and Disrupt Bill into legislation. This bill allows law enforcement agencies and security agencies such as the AFP to do data disruption. That is to modify, to change, add, copy data under the pretense of frustrating the commission of serious crimes. It also enables the AFP to track and collect network activity on these criminal organizations, supposedly. Finally, it allows organizations like the AFP to take over accounts, to actually hijack, for example, a social media account for the purpose of disrupting the commission of crime. Okay, so how do these legislation affect me? I'm not a criminal, I don't do anything bad. Well, true, right? The legislation is justified under the idea of preventing the dark web from propagating crimes, from child sex trafficking, all very important causes for the AFP to be involved with. But the legislation is a bit more broader than that. It allows any suspicion of crime committed which has a potential imprisonment of over 3 years. That involves theft, that involves tax evasion, illegal gambling, the use of controlled and illegal substances, the piracy of material, like we've probably all done. And perhaps more than that, this bill includes an assistance order. That is, that if the AFP or any other criminal investigation agency wants you to help, whether it is to provide you access to someone's account, then you can be liable for up to 10 years imprisonment if you do not help the agency with doing so. These laws do not exist in any other Western nation. So clearly this does not seem like a very good thing, right? An intrusion of privacy, state legislated hacking. But I think the true significance of legislation like this, giving government the ability to access your network activity, to change data involved online, to access and take over an online account, is the fact that most of us haven't realized what this actually means. What it actually means for who we are and the boundaries of ourselves. We commonly think of ourselves as being bounded by the physical body. That our social media and online presence simply represents that. But is that really true? Or is our online presence, the data encoded in ones and zeros, literally what makes us us? Is it part of ourselves and our being? Think about a friend, or perhaps better so, think of a celebrity, someone who you know. Have you met this person in person? Have you shook their hand, seen their physical self? If not, then do they exist to you in a physical being? Because that individual only exists in data, in images, in text, in video, encoded in ones and zeros, transmitted on the internet. They literally are not physically real to you. So think about your Facebook friends list, your Instagram followers list, for example. How many of them do you know in person? Have you met in person? And how many of them know you in person? How many of the people who've seen your accounts, seen your photos, seen your posts, have actually met you in person. Indeed, you are more real to them online. Yourself is literally embodied online. There are probably more people who know you through your digital self, your digital arms and legs, and not your physical ones. If you are watching this video and you've not seen me in person, there. I am existing in your life purely as a digital existence, purely through data and data alone, transmitted through the internet. Because someone who has access to this information, who can change your online accounts and the data that is on there, is analogous and is exactly analogous to someone forcefully putting a wig on you, putting a speech changer in your mouth and changing your face, ripping off the skin and putting a new one on. There is no difference. Our online digital arms and legs are just as real as our physical ones. Perhaps these are some of the real issues with this laws. In particular with the Identify and Disrupt bill, reasonable suspicion is all that's. The police could have reasonable suspicion about anything without any need for true evidence. They can search your account first and then build evidence. And of course, the fact that they can change, disrupt data, it's just that evidence in itself is malleable, and that is now enshrined in legislation. There is no true warrant process. Instead, the police and other agencies simply have to apply through the Administrative Appeals Tribunal. It's not a court. There is no judge presiding of whether the police can access this information, change data, your accounts, and take them over. And perhaps what's even more striking is that this passed with bipartisan support from both Labour and Liberal in the federal parliament. These policies and the influence that law enforcement agencies, the Department of Home Affairs now have is not just an invasion of privacy and security, but ultimately highlights a blind spot in our sense of self. And we still think this is us, the body encloses us. Where technology and the internet and social media has given us bionic digital limbs which reach into the lives of others and encapsulate just as much about who we are as our physical body does. In fact, as we've had a look at, they're probably more real to most people. Your online presence, your online self, is probably known by more people than have seen you physically. These are our digital arms and legs. Digital arms and legs that we are handing over for free control and free access. The government knows. Law enforcement agencies know. When will we know that this is not all that there is? That we are more than just our physical bodies.